The Ultimate Bunsen Burner Guide will teach you everything you ever wanted to know about Bunsen burners and more. In this video, I will start with a brief history of the Bunsen burner and discuss what we can use it for. Then, I will describe the main parts of a Bunsen burner, after which I will dive into the steps of how to turn it on and start using it. Finally, I will end with how you should turn it off. Let's start with a very brief history of the Bunsen burner and why this tool is important in the scientific world. The Bunsen burner is named after German chemist Robert Bunsen, who popularized and improved the older laboratory burners by designing a new model in 1855. Robert Bunsen used the burner to further his spectrum analysis research, which eventually led him to discover two new elements, cesium and rubidium. Today, the Bunsen burner is one of the most common pieces of laboratory equipment, which can be used for lots of different kinds of experiments. Perhaps we might be able to discover new elements in the periodic table as Bunsen and his colleagues did. We could also have a lot of fun with it and try experiments like the levitating flame and screaming jelly belly. If you're curious about these experiments, let's try them one day, like on Bunsen Burner Day, which is March 31st, in honor of the famous chemist. Now I will dive into what the Bunsen burner is, covering its main parts. The Bunsen burner consists of a barrel, an air hole or air ports, a gas valve to adjust the gas that goes into burner, and a gas inlet which a hose can be attached to, thus enabling the burner to connect with an external gas source, such as a tank full of methane. The flame on a burner can be adjusted by moving the air ports and gas valve. In fact, the interaction between air and oxygen and gas is what makes a burner burn. To handle the Bunsen burner, it is best to hold it at the base of the barrel, on top of the air hole. The barrel is hot, especially at the top, so do not hold it there. Now that you have a little background on the Bunsen burner, I will go into the safety guidelines and the actual steps to use the burner. Before we dive into how to actually use the Bunsen burner, let's review the important safety measures you must take first. Although Bunsen burners can be a lot of fun, you are dealing with fire. Hence, you should be extremely careful and follow these guidelines. Always wear safety gear such as goggles, gloves, and a lab coat. Even Bunsen lost his eye in an experiment. Make sure there is an adult supervisor in the room with you when you are experimenting. Know where safety materials are located, such as a fire extinguisher and a first aid box. Be sure you know how to use the safety materials. Identify the emergency exits. Never leave the Bunsen burner unattended. Work on a clean, flat table to keep the Bunsen burner stable. Tie long hair back or into ponytails. Now that you are familiar with the safety rules of using Bunsen burner, there is one more thing you must do before you start experimenting with the Bunsen burner. Be sure to close the air ports and gas valve before turning on the burner, which I'll explain how to do next. Turning the burner on is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Here are the 3 steps to turn it on. Connect the burner's hose to the gas source. Light the burner and turn the gas source on. Open the air ports until the flame is blue. I will review each step more closely with some images so you can visualize these steps more easily. Step number 1. Connect the burner's rubber hose to the gas source, which is usually methane. This will allow the gas to flow into and light the burner. Step number 2. Light the burner with a match or lighter by placing it above the barrel and at the same time turn the gas source on. This will light the flame. Step number 3. Slowly open the air ports until the flame is blue or non-luminous. Voila! Now you are ready to do some exciting Bunsen burner experiments. Beware, the blue flame is very hot, especially near the barrel, so be careful not to touch it. After you are done experimenting with the burner, be sure to turn it off. This is very easy to do. Just close the air ports, which will reduce the flame and turn it into a yellow luminous color. Then simply turn off the gas source. Now that you are done experimenting with the Bunsen burner, take your safety gear off and exit to get to your next class. Thanks for watching my video on Bunsen burners. I hope you enjoyed it. If nothing else, I hope it makes you feel more comfortable using this great invention. After all, your Bunsen burner experiments could lead to other great inventions too.